Now the AU mission in Juba, comprising of the chair, who is the current Prime Minister of Ethiopia, as well as the current chair of the AU. Honorable Okello Oryem, who is our Minister of State for International Affairs, Ministers of Foreign Affairs for Djibouti, Kenya, Somalia, and Sudan, as well as the AU Commissioner for Peace and Security. The main purpose of the mission is to get the government and all other parties to immediately engage in dialogue as the only viable and sustainable solution to the crisis. Therefore, the mission is urging all parties in the current crisis in Southern Sudan, without exception, to mobilize South Sudanese for calm, tolerance, patience, national unity and forgiveness, as well as to refrain from any statements or utterances that may aggravate the situation. Finally, the mission further urges for immediate commencement of the dialogue by all parties. In the meantime, the government of Uganda has taken the necessary arrangements to airlift the 7 identified Ugandans injured in South Sudan conflict using the UPDF helicopter. Included in the airlift are those who have voluntarily decided to come back to Uganda. And for any relatives who are worried about their people currently in South Sudan, there are hotlines that they can call. The first one is a mobile telephone number, which is +211 956 77 1175. The next one is a landline. The other two are landlines, which is +211 977 11 333 0. And the last one is +211 955 0333 0. Statistics at the border show that there is a restored situation whereby there is right now easy movement of vehicles. At the moment as we speak, no new skirmishes have been reported in Juba. The vehicles that have so far, as in today, have arrived in Uganda, 128 vehicles, including 15 buses. And they've arrived from Juba to the Elegu border post of Uganda. We've also received, continue to receive aircrafts that are coming from Juba. I don't really comment much in as far as Uganda sending in the military is concerned. I do not have any information towards that. Secondly, the situation in Juba right now is extremely precarious. Whereas, yes, we do have the official figures of 8,000 Ugandans in Juba, much as is, under normal circumstances, it is estimated that there are over 20,000. Right now, the situation is volatile. People are in and out. So it's really very difficult to determine how many people or Ugandans are actually in Juba as we speak. And where the outskirts, where the skirmishes continue, that's in the outskirts of Juba, especially in northern Southern Sudan, where the fighting is currently intense. We have spoken to our colleagues at the embassy, and it is very, very difficult to ascertain how many Ugandans actually live there. That is true, as I've already mentioned in my statement, or in the statement. There's an helicopter that is in Juba currently making its way to Uganda and is carrying specifically people that have been identified who are injured. And in that plane or helicopter, there are other Ugandans who have voluntarily returned or want to return to Uganda. But in as far as those that are outside Juba are concerned, the situation right now is extremely difficult. But what I can tell you or assure you is that the ministry and the government in general is working is liaising with their counterparts in Southern Sudan to ensure that, number one, the numbers of Ugandans in those areas are established, and number two, to ensure that they are secure. The ministry is also sending out information to Ugandans in those areas to be calm and stay indoors, especially where gunfire is rife. At the moment, it is as far as we can do, just to urge Ugandans to stay calm, stay indoors until the situation stabilizes. The foreign countries, European countries and Americans have already evacuated their citizens. Yes, they've landed in Entebbe and some have proceeded to Nairobi. So yes, we've been receiving visitors in as far as the evacuation from Juba is concerned. But may I also add in haste that other than just waiting for government to evacuate people, there are much more Ugandans who have felt that they must return home or they ought to return home. And they've been doing so. The truckloads and buses that I've been talking about in my statement comprises actually a mixture of Ugandans, Sudanese, and other nationalities who are coming to Uganda. So there's that, as much as there may be a call for government to intervene. So what government is doing at the moment is to very closely liaise with security agencies in Southern Sudan to ensure that the highways are secure. And as we speak, the highways are secure. The military personnel, security personnel of Southern Sudan are guarding the highways. In fact, there's even no need for security convoys. So the vehicles are freely moving from Juba into Uganda and equally from Uganda into Juba. When you say our forces in Juba are taking control, what do you mean? What I'm saying is the UPDF helicopter is in Juba to airlift those people that have been identified and who are injured, as well as other families that have voluntarily decided to come back home.
How safe is it for us to have South Sudanese getting into Uganda? Once you say that South Sudanese and Ugandans are getting in free.
When you say they're getting in here, the security in our borders is extremely impeccable. The usual processes of checking, they all must have travel documents. But in situations where they don't have, our immigration services are at the borders and they are making the necessary arrangements. So I will assure Ugandans that it is not free flow. There is, right now, obviously, there's a coordinated approach to all this. Certainly, the ESC has its own framework in as far as peaceful intervention in areas, in hotspots of conflict. So that is there. But also, it is important to know that they have to coordinate with other regional organizations such as the AU, of which, as I've already intimated, the AU is on the ground, and their conclusions from observing the situation at least will help all these other agencies make the necessary interventions. Much as there's a lot of talk about Juba, But you know, Juba is a center, and in any case, a lot of Ugandans moving away from those areas have certainly come through Juba. And indeed, those ones who have come to Uganda or managed to make their way into Uganda have gone through Juba. But having said that, as I've already mentioned, government is trying all it can to ensure that it actually tries to identify those Ugandans who are at the outskirts or those far areas.